Today we are sitting down with Maddie from Risen Mind Wellness, and we have a bunch of questions for her. She's going to help us go through how to communicate with spirits, what that's going to look like, how to protect ourselves and everything. It's just something that we wanted to do before we went on an active investigation, just to make sure that we had all of the tools and experiences to actually get started and do it safely. So if you wanna tell them a bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Maddie. I am a hypnotherapist, and my business name is Risen Mind Wellness. So I really like to be involved with spirit. I've been a spiritual person my whole life, and I've now made a career out of it, how to talk to spirit, talk to people's higher selves, and yeah, I'm pretty well versed. I like to think anyways on how to protect yourself, how to be aware of spirit, how to communicate, and just make sure that everything is for the best outcome of all involved. So thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, well, let's get into it. We've had a lot of paranormal experiences ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think we've brought home some stuff.
Okay.
And the goal is to not let that happen again.
Sure.
Because living with shit in your house is and you're just always on edge, it sucks. And it's if we're gonna go seek out a bunch of haunted locations, we want to know how to protect ourselves.
Okay.
And we figured this would be a good way to learn.
Okay.
We're concerned now at this point that there is still something with us.
Okay.
So when I was younger, I'm playing with so many boards when I was a teenager.
Okay.
But now it's every single house that I've ever lived in, there's this scratching sound that follows me.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard it in a really long time. But it's every house without fail that I've moved into, it's popped up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I always forget about it because it barely happens, and then I'll be somewhere and I'll be in a new house because I've moved a bunch, and I'll be oh my god, it's here.
What does it sound like?
It sounds like, and I heard it for the first time at my parents' house when I was young.
Or more than twice?
When it first happened, it was, I think, 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
And then it kind of happened, I don't remember, I just remember, the sound and just knowing exactly what that was.
Sure.
And, there's been, we lived together in our last house in Huntington, and, he has had stuff happen to him at other places. Yours was, some creepy, old farmhouse witch thing.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I saw, a lady at my friend Miles's farmhouse, which we always kind of joked about being haunted, but, nothing really happened. Well, actually, we basically would play tag in the absolute pitch dark, and a few of my friends have been grabbed.
Uh-huh.
I forgot how scary this story is.
But anyway, my story at that place was I was outside on the phone with my mother, and then I kind of felt someone watching me, and then I turned around and I saw it looked just the silhouette of a bride almost, I saw wedding veil almost, and then I looked back and then I did a double take, so I was what the fuck did I just see? And there was nothing there.
That's
and then everyone sweared up and down that no one was upstairs. So
yeah.
So that was a weird one.
And then the children crying or something?
That one was at my other friend's house, who I guess his mother used to date a guy who practiced black magic and other stuff, and they were kind of a little bit of an out there sort of family. But there was one night I was sleeping over, and I woke up at about 3 something in the morning to go pee, and then went to the bathroom, which was past the furnace room in the basement. And as I was passing the furnace room, I heard laughter, which I thought was weird. But I decided to just go pee anyway, and then when I came back, I was still hearing it, and then I opened the furnace room door, and the second the door unlatched, it stopped. And it was coming adjacent from the door, which is this room under the stairs at his house that has always had these weird children's drawings and stuff, and we always joked that they used to stuff children's bodies in the walls. And I heard children laughing. So
Yeah.
That was a weird one.
They're toying with you for sure.
But it's then he goes home and you know, there's like scratches on your walls. And,
Actually, yeah, that was the
Yeah.
one. That one was weird because after I went home from that, I started hearing noises like at my own house.
Mm-hmm.
I'd hear like scratching like up and down the walls. It would just kind of like go up and down like the walls back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
It was very weird.
Mm-hmm. Does it happen? When do you notice that? Does it still happen right now?
Not that I've noticed.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay.
But
yeah, so like with both of us having a lot of paranormal experiences and like
Mhm.
thinking that we were bringing them home, when we lived together, it was like amplified. And we lived with our friend Caden, who like also thought that he had some like kind of attachment because he, you know, we're all from the same town in Okotoks, right? We're all from the same small place where there's nothing to do except for like mess about.
Explore,
so
yeah.
So it's like we all lived together in this house in Huntington, and it was like every night. Like it was every night there was something. It was like we like lights turning on and off, things moving. I have a video. We put a camera up, like one of those just like cheap like stick on the wall cameras. I have an orb on there from like Caden was just getting up in the middle of the night to pee, and then like after him there was like an orb.
Yeah.
Noises all the time, bangs, like
Yeah.
I saw like so there was like it was like this, it was a big window in the living room, and we were talking, and then I saw like a black little gremlin figure. It was just a black shadow run behind me, and it like terrified me, and then you went into the room because the light was on, and then it burnt out, and we were like and we all slept on the floor in the living room together because we were like we are not doing that. So we figured like if we're gonna go, it's all well and good, like we're super interested in this kind of thing, but it's like if we're gonna go out and seek it, like I want to be able to come home and like be safe.
Yeah, of course.
And like have somewhere where I can just relax, because we don't have a ton of paranormal experiences in the current house that we're in. We're at my parents' house, but like sometimes we do.
Okay.
And it's like, you know, like the other day, well, probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago now, I watched my toothpaste move by itself, and it shook me to my very core, because the reason that we were starting this YouTube channel is because even though we've had so many experiences, it's like you can still in your brain like you're like okay, I know that I know in the moment I thought this is what it is, but like looking back, was it? And it's really tough to fully...
You doubt yourself sometimes.
Yeah, like, you know, when you see something crazy and your brain is like trying to rationalize, and it's like, well, everything that we've experienced could be rationalized when it's been a long enough period of time, and you've thought about it enough. It's like you can make excuses. So like the big question is like, you know, does this stuff exist? And so we want to be able to like go out and get like undeniable proof and like evidence, and just like, you know, just see.
Yeah.
We just want to know.
Yeah. I mean, that's really fascinating, all the experiences that you had. I've also had really crazy experiences my whole entire life. I've been spiritual my whole life, as well as both of my sisters and my mom. So I've actually learned a lot on all the things that you're talking about, how to kind of like overcome the feelings of fear and really be setting the right intention. So I have a lot of advice for you guys.
Excellent.
And I'm like making mental notes of everything that you're saying, because I really want to touch on everything that you're saying. Okay, where do I start? Okay, so when you're experiencing these things, how is your feelings? How's your heart? Like you mentioned, it's like terrifying, it's like fearful. Obviously the exploration part is there, and that's really awesome that you guys are wanting to explore, because of course we all want to know, like, what is the afterlife? Like, what is going on? Is this real? Like, do we have connection to spirit? Where do they go? And obviously that really encompasses like death as well, and like the afterlife, just like what's going on? Where does spirit go? So you guys say that you're feeling, well, sounds like you guys have experienced some, like a little bit of like anxiety around some of the interactions that you had. And okay, to be safe when you're doing this type of work and this type of energy work, you want to keep in mind your intention and your frequency of your energy. So the way that spirit works is it's always going to be like a frequency. So just like what your tools are using, like that frequency they're reading that EMF.
Right.
Everything has that electromagnetic field.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in your body, like you have the electromagnetic field, we all do. And spirit does as well. That's how they communicate. It's all this electromagnetic energy. We just call it energy. Simplify it. We call it energy. So what I learned early on when I started doing practice within, like, working with spirit as well, is that your feelings of the situation and your intent, what you're putting into it, is going to have the biggest input and effect on what you're receiving. Mm-hmm. So if you're scared, you're going to get energy that is also scared and is scary. Right. It's kind of like a magnet in that sense, kind of like law of attraction. Yeah. So when you're dealing with these things that are like, you're really high intensity, or especially like at nighttime when the veil is really thin, there's a lot of energies that can use that frequency that you're on to communicate with you even more. Right. Some of them know what they're doing, some of them don't. I am a light worker, but I do know of people and have worked with people in the past who do like dark magic as well. Practice in the dark realm. I don't personally like to go there because I know that what you're opening up to, it's not always going to be what you're expecting and what's safe. Yeah. So I would suggest not to use any Ouija boards going forward in the future, just because it has like the letters are fine, numbers are fine, but it's the hello and the goodbye that's like the issue there. Okay. And it's because you can't, essentially you're giving the spirit a source to be in and open. It's like an open circuit. Yeah. With the hello and goodbye, they can come when they want, they can leave when they want. You're basically presenting that as like a menu, being like, hey, you want to come in, come in. You want to leave, you want to leave. Okay. What you want to do when you're working with spirit is you want to be, since you're here in the physical body and your magnetic frequency, like having a heartbeat, having a pulse, it's always going to be a lot stronger than the energies that you're working with. Okay. So you want to have the circuit open to what you want, what you're inviting in, which is why intention is so important. Okay. And the managing the fear. So one of the best ways that I've learned to manage that fear, because it is a little bit freaky, especially like what you said about when things come in and you're like, well, you know, your mind's trying to conceptualize, was that physical here in reality, or was that an energy that I'm sensing? Because you're an aware person. Your body has, like, you know, they say when you're tingles on the back of your neck, or you can feel someone looking behind you. That is what you're feeling, that frequency, okay? So when it comes to, like, it's all real. It's all there. I've worked with spirit for a very long time. They are there. This energy that you're feeling is very real. And I guess just quickly before I go to the fear and kind of coping techniques, and like frequency management, as I like to call it, there's two sides of the brain. We all know, like, your left side and your right side of your brain. The left side is that's where our intellect, that's analytical thought, that's the way that your brain can experience emotion, and just basically experiences that it has in the real world. That's how it can conceptualize them, and it goes based off of past experiences. So when you were saying, like, I don't know if it was real or not after a length of time, you can kind of think your way out of it. That's your left brain. You're like your rational mind. Yeah. And then your right brain is your intuitive brain, your creative brain. It's also where your intuition comes from, where imagination comes from. That's where spirit can really connect to you, and it's through that right side of your brain. Like when you have a good idea and you're like, oh, I wonder where that came from. That's the right side.
I know I've heard, like, left hand and right hand, there's, like, one, like, that's, like, giving and, like, receiving or something like that? Yeah. Like...
So your left is your feminine side, and that's, like, in, and then your right side is your masculine side, and that's, like, the output. Okay. So it's just kind of, like, balance. Usually you'll find, like, sometimes you'll find spirit will connect to you on either side, and it's not always in that way. But, yeah, you do have, like, an energy flow. Like in yoga, your energy flow is like Shakti. Like in Chinese medicine, it's Qi. It's just that energy flow. You'll hear like chakras a lot. Your chakras, your energy centers. It's all relative to how energy is moving through you. Right. And then going back to that electromagnetic field, we all have like the senses on our body to be able to interpret that. It's just a matter of how much we're letting in. Yeah. Okay. So left side, right side of the brain, when you're talking about like conceptualizing things versus like things happening and you just being intuitively aware of it, or your experiences with feeling something behind you and like looking back, like that's your right side of the brain that's functioning there. But what happens is that like when fear takes over, or like when our brain takes over and says, well, maybe that's not really possible, that's the left side of your brain trying to make sense of what it hasn't experienced yet,
Right.
and also what it's not familiar with experiencing. So just be aware of that. Sometimes when you do experience something, don't doubt yourself, because it is happening for sure. Okay, back to frequency management. So one of the best tools, and I think one of the easiest tools that I can recall on right now, is that when you're in the moment, or like we'll talk about frequency management before, kind of during and after. I'm talking about kind of during, like when it's happening. When you're feeling a little bit nervous or anxious, your love center and your intention for love is the absolute best thing that you can use to your advantage to change the frequency and also manage it for the souls that you're interacting with, the energies that you're interacting with.
Okay.
So a good way to do this, if you're feeling, and I've used this lots of times in my, like, when I was just kind of getting into the paranormal stuff as well, you imagine yourself, like I like to imagine myself, and when you start feeling that, like, oof feeling, I literally imagine, like, cartoon-style heart bubbles, like, coming out of my head or coming out of my heart and, like, going to them. And then always, 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 you can always say either out loud or in your head, whatever is in the like for the best intent, for the highest intent of all involved. Find the light, be towards the light. Sometimes you're the light, like sometimes they see your light, like the energy's on the other side, they can sense that and they come to you. But you can always say, depends if you want to interact with them or not. If it's something that you feel like you don't want to interact with, especially when it's in your home, and that's like, we'll talk about setting a boundary and that frequency management, because that is very important, to have those boundaries. When it comes to something in your home like that, if you want to interact with it, great, but if you don't want that to be a space that they're coming to you, and you want to go and seek them out, yeah, you can always say, like,
Don't hang out with them that much.
Yeah,
really.
so-
I don't think so.
yeah, so create your boundaries. So you can do that physically and with intention. Intention is going to be, you literally like stand up to them in that space. Like, this is my space, this is my home, I'm allowing myself to be here, my energy is allowed to be here, yours is not. Anything that is not for my highest good, you can go now. And it doesn't have to be, like, what I found, it doesn't have to be like when we go back to speaking that fear state, when you're like, get out of here, like, I don't want you here, like, that's that fear frequency. And so something that is something that is it's important to mention that there's some energies that aren't able to function off of love capacity, if that makes sense. So the frequency of love just kind of like, I don't think there's like hot, like good and bad energy, or even high and low. It's all really balanced. That's more of a philosophical statement. But there are energies out there that really truly only operate on the fear frequency. So if you're acting in that way and presenting that energy to them, that's like, get out of here, I don't want you here, you're scaring me. That's literally like feeding them, like giving them the capacity to stay. So giving out that love frequency, it's essentially that match, that if you're giving out such love and saying, like, I love you, you have to go back to where you belong, there's a place for you in this universe, but it's not here. Sending you love, sending you light, go back to where you belong. That energy wants to go where it belongs. Lots of times when you're feeling that energy of like stuck or stagnant or scary, it's feeling that too. Like, that's the energy that it's on too. So if you can give it an opportunity to say, go towards light, go towards love, find your place, find your home, but it's not here. It'll make you feel better. Take a few breaths, calm yourself down, and just remember that you are in your space. They can't hurt you. They can't do crazy things. Like, yes, like, you can call it poltergeist or anything like that. It does happen, like, energy can get really, really crazy, but it's all because of, like, what we allow to exist in that moment. And again, matching that, like, fear frequency with the love frequency. If you're feeling fear and they're using fear to their advantage, it will just keep getting greater, right? So you want to act out of love and out of compassion. And I like to imagine it as like if there was a lost soul wandering somewhere in my house and it's kind of freaking me out, like what would I want to be told? I would want to be told like you have a home,
Yeah.
go find it, you find the light, you find the love.
Mhm.
There is a place for you to exist in this universe, but it's not here. Stand your ground. This is my home. This is my space. I inhabit this space. This is our home. I'm not comfortable with you here, but you can find space somewhere else. And usually coming from that love frequency, it'll tone the energy down a bit.
Yeah.
Enough to where you can, pull yourself out of the covers or like walk down the hallway or whatever, right? Then you find yourself like not running up from the stairs, you know what I mean? Like it's okay. It's chill. We all do it. We all do it. But it's that way that they connect with us, right? Like they can use our senses and our bodily emotions and feelings to their advantage sometimes. So just like take back your space, claim your space.